just have fun with it. Because sports doesn't always have to be, yes, sports is competitive, okay, and who knows if they was going to win or lose.
True.
So as I continue to read this, the story is I think it shows arrogance on the team that
more than anything.
Yeah.
Right.
On this, and here it is, a private school in Waco, Vanguard Prep. So they're already arrogant.
Wow, because you seen the word prep?
Yeah, with prep school, that's not arrogant.
Preparatory. Wow. Okay. Arrogance. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna walk away from the story as total arrogance on their part. I'm a firm believer that anything can happen, no matter how confident you are. Kentucky Wildcats is 34-0 right now.
Right.
People think they'll run the table, but
they can lose to Hampton.
Man, that's a total embarrassment if they lose to a school like that.
That would be an embarrassment.
But I'm just using that as a way of saying.
So what if Kentucky decide, man, we're not gonna play y'all. We're gonna have compassion for y'all.
And they'll get
that's arrogant.
All kind of sanctions against them, and
exactly that's arrogance.
Wow. Well, what else you have?
Well,
I got some NFL news that just came across the wire.
All right.
As a matter of fact, Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers might not be with the team after the 2015 season. San Diego is a strong candidate to move to Los Angeles, where they are building a stadium. And if that happens, Phillip Rivers might not be going with the Chargers.
Why not?
If the team were to move there, that means Rivers will have to uproot, have to change, move his wife and his 7 kids.
So where would he go?
I don't know.
He can't stay in San Diego.
Retire.
Yeah.
Retire. He's been in San Diego all his life. If the Chargers move to Los Angeles in 2016, as I mentioned, Rivers might not be going with them. Rivers has been in San Diego since being traded to the Chargers in the first round of the 2004 NFL draft.
From who? The Giants. That was
a trade between him and Eli Manning.
Him and Eli, yep.
That's right. Rivers isn't sure he will want to play in Los Angeles if the team were to move there, which is now a definite possibility. Back in mid-February, the Chargers and Raiders announced plans to build a $1.7 billion stadium in Carson, California. One reason would be he had to move his whole family, which is 1 wife and 7 kids. Okay. He was quoted as saying, what we've established here with my growing family is hard to recreate. It is hard to up and recreate that in itself. I know that moves are part of life, but that certainly is fair to say that I'm not being sold on moving to Los Angeles as a part of the whole plan. The good thing is I'm not under contract in a year where we'll be potentially be in Los Angeles. He's playing his final year of his contract with San Diego on top of that.
Okay. Here's what I say to that.
Okay.
Here's what I say to that. You got how many kids?
7.
You need to stay. Hello?
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
So he's going to go and play out his contract, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you need to stay there. All right, who we got on the line?
It's Shelley Lyons.
All right. She got a correction on some things.
Hello, Professor. Hello, Benchwarmer.
Hello, Shelley. How you doing?
I'm great, and happy birthday again to you.
I really appreciate that. It's this week has been really very meaningful to me. It started with my family, went through my coworkers, went through y'all. I mean, the birthday love was just beyond measure. But I appreciate that. Thank you, Shelley.
Well, you was almost a leprechaun.
You know what? Today is St. Patrick's Day.
That's why I said he wore green.
You was almost a Lucky Charm.
That's right. I was almost there. As a matter of fact, this is just a tidbit. I was a month late. I was scheduled to be born February 16th of 77, and my mom had me at 10 months. Wow. I wouldn't come out. I'm a late baby, so I was actually born March 16th, a month after I should have been. So Almost there.
Wow. Bless her heart.
What's up, Shelly?
Well, I called quickly. Let me just say, I wanted to go back to the story that you guys did, the feel-good story.
Okay.
Because I watched the video, and I didn't get the same perception that you guys did.
Okay, explain.
I didn't see them as being arrogant, because what they did was they put themselves in those boys' shoes.
All right.
And they said, you know what, how would I feel if I went and I played a basketball game? I know I've done some wrong things, but if I didn't have not one person coming out to cheer for me, how would I feel? And so that's what they did. They took that thing, they took those feelings, and they created an atmosphere of encouragement and support for those boys that they wouldn't otherwise have, because no one was coming out, not their parents, not their family. No one was coming out to support them. So every game that they go and play, when they have an opportunity to play, no one was there to cheer them on. So they created that atmosphere. They had more fans from the Vanguard side cheering for the juvenile boys. They even had cheerleaders for them. So that's what I got from the story. I didn't get them being arrogant. I got them looking at that with compassion, like they said, and giving them an opportunity. And those boys, if you look at the video, you can see in their faces how much they appreciated that.
Well, based off us just reading the story, I guess we didn't look at the video. By reading the story, it said this basketball team refused to play their opponents.
But they were taking a stance against the people not supporting those boys. They weren't taking a stance against the team. They were taking a stance against the fact that no one ever comes out to support those kids.
Okay, but wouldn't you still want to? Hey, let's just play a game. Did they not? They've
done that in the past. They've seen them do that in the past, and they felt bad that they got all these people cheering for them on one end, and the bleachers are completely empty on the other side.
Okay.
Who wouldn't have a heart for those kids in that sense?
Well, I understand that, but let's spread the bleach. Let's spread the team on both sides.
But that's what they did. That's what this story is about.
Okay, so they did play the game.
Yes, they ended up playing the game, but what they did was they refused to play the game, and what they did was they went on they went on a rally to get people to cheer for the boys. So they went through their school, they rallied parents, students, the community to come to the game and sit on the opposite side, wear the colors of the other team, and cheer for them on that side. They had more fans cheering for the juvenile kids than they did for their own team.
Okay,
because
so
those two boys decided to do that.
Okay, so just by reading, we should have just watched the video.
Yeah, the video tells a whole different story than, I guess, maybe the way the writer wrote it.
Yeah,
you look at it one way, but when you look at the video and see everything that those two boys did to show support for those juvenile kids, it's a whole nother. I mean, you have to watch it.
Yeah, because the writer did not write this right at all.
Well, she needs to be popped.
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all took it all. I was like, what in the world are they talking about?
Yeah, just what I read, it was like, okay, that don't make no sense.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Well, I just had to clarify.
Well, we sure appreciate your clarification.
That is Shelley's best. She's good at what she do. Of course.
Correcting us.
Thank you. I wasn't going to call in on that other one, though.
Okay, yeah.
We'll talk about that when you get home, sir.
Okay. All right, so we appreciate you calling in.
Good night.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Our very own Shelley Lyons.
All right, so since we at the end of the day, I'm so glad we had this time together.
So, are we have to pay bills one more time, or we're going to go ahead and...
Final thoughts and then pay bills after that.
You paying bills now?
Oh, we're going to final thoughting it out.
Oh, okay.
We got about 8 minutes.
Well, so let's start with you.
Final thoughts. Greg Hardy. If they get him, great. If he turns out to be the player remember when they brought in Charles Haley, and Charles Haley was a knucklehead, but they brought him in, and he was the one to turn this defense around. If they bring in Greg Hardy, he's going to make this defense 100 times better than what they were. He's going to change this whole defense around. And I think that people will forget what he did. If he did or didn't do it. Whatever it was, they'll forget it. Because now we got a defense with this offense too.
My thing is,
you even forget DeMarco Murray left.
Why is him coming here? To me, my thought process is he's coming here to help the team.
Right.
Why is his personal situation such a story? That it is what.
That's a story. Number one, that's a story of a Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson. These are why they didn't stay in the NFL. That's number one. Number two is he was indicted, getting ready to go to trial. The only reason why he didn't go to trial is what? Because she didn't show up. That's the only reason why he didn't go to trial, because she didn't show up. So now they dismissed the case. Based off of what the 911 tape said, he did more things worse. He did worse than what Ray Rice did. I mean, choking a girl, and she talking about she finna die and this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
He did worse based off of what that 911 tape said.
But what does that have anything to do with what he does on the field?
Because that's how people are.
See, I'm not calling that people. So I'm caught up in what are you doing for me, for my team on the field? That's what matters. 'Cause I guarantee you, if he's a win-win on the field, none of this stuff that we're talking about would even matter.
Exactly. People got short memory. As long as you making money, I forget when you hit
Kobe.
me. Huh?
It's like Kobe.
Like Kobe. Yeah, they got but what he does off the field means what? Nothing. But although he's arrogant on the field too, so
we're not finna talk about Kobe Bryant
Yeah.
as arrogant.
How much of a douche he is for days.
well, okay, yeah, but we ain't got days time. We got a couple more minutes here.
But Greg Hardy, I mean, more power to him.
If
It looks like that they will sign him tomorrow. You're not gonna stay in Dallas overnight at a hotel.
Exactly.
Get treated for dinner by Jerry Jones tonight before you
'Cause you
went
tired.
to bed.
'Cause
and
you
then
tired.
Get up in the morning, you take your physical, and then you sign a contract. He's here because he's getting ready to sign a contract. So
He's about to sign a
he will
contract,
be a
yeah.
Dallas Cowboy by the end of day tomorrow. He will replace Jeremy Mincey,
But he's going to have to serve probably a 6-day game suspension.
which is fine.
Yeah, you.
Let
But
him go through that.
I still say this: if they didn't indict me, you got to prove it. Prove that I did what they said I did. Now, on one hand, you got one tape that said that he choked a girl, threw up on the gun couch. Then you got him calling in to 911, and you got his tape saying she's hitting him.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you got to prove it. I said that the whole year. You got to prove it.
True.
So, I mean, he might not serve a suspension because you have to prove your case. They didn't do it. They wasn't going to do anything to Ray Rice.
Well,
Had that tape come up.
Whether you're indicted or not, the bottom line is it has to be proven that he did this.
Exactly. So how you going to suspend me for something you can't even prove?
That's what really boiled down to, indicted or not. The fact of the matter is, can you prove what this man did?
Mm-hmm. And the
despite
fact
hearsay or she say, he say.
Now, the fact that the crazy part about it is she showed up on Facebook and other places with, different clothes and everything on Rodale Drive and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't show up in court. So if you did this to me, then I want to see you go down. True. If everything you said you did, I want to see you go down. You talking about choking me out and I'm about to die and everything. I want to see you go down. I'm not going to accept your money. I want to see you go down.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a tape that says, he has a 911 tape that says, hey, she's hitting me. She's doing this. What should I do? What should I do? Do you have, they asked, do you have bruises? Do we need to call him? He said, I got a couple of bruises, but I'm all right. I'll be all right. I don't need no ambulance or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. I just need you guys to get out here so I can get my stuff and get on out. He's trying to call it. So I'm like, we don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow. Well, I can say this: if he's the addition that the